I used to finish in just 60 seconds. Not because I wanted to, but because my body gave up before I even got started. It wrecked my confidence, my marriage, and honestly, my sense of manhood. But what if I told you an ancient breathing trick? Just 5 minutes a day. Changed everything after 60. I'll show you exactly how it works. And why no one's talking about it. Let me tell you something I never thought I'd say out loud. For 2 years, I couldn't last more than 60 seconds in bed. Not because I didn't care, not because I wasn't attracted to her, but because my body just gave up before anything even really started. I didn't know what was worse, the embarrassment, the silence after, or the look in her eyes. When the woman you love starts looking at you like you're a fragile memory, it cuts deeper than words ever could. It wasn't always like that. In my 40s, even my early 50s, I still had it. We weren't wild, but we were connected. Intimacy still meant something. But after I turned 60, things started slipping. Energy, desire, performance all slowly fading like an old photograph left out in the sun. At first, I blamed stress. Then I blamed work. Then my medications, blood pressure meds, cholesterol pills, a bit of back pain. The doctor said, "You're in your 60s now. This is all part of it." But it didn't feel like part of life. It felt like I was losing my manhood piece by piece. It wasn't just physical. It was identity. I didn't feel like a man anymore. I felt like a shadow of one. I remember one night specifically, anniversary dinner. Nice wine, fancy hotel, even brought the blue pill. We laughed, kissed, touched, and then nothing. Not even a flicker. I could feel her trying not to show disappointment. Later that night, I sat alone in the bathroom, toothbrush still foaming in my mouth, tears quietly falling. That night changed me. I stopped trying, told myself, it's not worth the heartbreak. You don't just give up on sex. You give up on intimacy, on touch, on connection, and eventually on yourself. Weeks turned into months. We stopped kissing, then stopped hugging. We weren't angry. We were just empty. One afternoon at the barber shop, an older man must have been pushing 80 sat next to me. Sharp suit, bright eyes, firm handshake. We got talking about life, aches, regrets. Then somehow, intimacy came up. He said, "You know what fixed me? breathing. I laughed. He didn't. He leaned in and said, "Kumbhaka. Look it up. Saved my marriage." At that point, I had nothing left to lose. If breathing was the answer, I'd damn well try it. So I looked it up. Kumbhaka Pranayama, an ancient breathing practice from India. Basically, controlled breath holds, inhale slowly. Hold for a few seconds. Exhale even slower. Repeat. Simple, free, quiet. I felt ridiculous doing it at first. Sitting on the edge of my bed every morning, breathing like some yoga guru. But something weird happened after 3 days. I felt centered. My heart wasn't pounding. I wasn't anxious. And more importantly, I started feeling connected to my body again. The panic that usually hit the moment things got intimate wasn't there anymore. So I kept going, 5 minutes a day, morning and night. It became a ritual like brushing my teeth or putting on socks. By the second week, I noticed something else. More blood flow, longer endurance, less tension, and then I read why. Turns out, slow breath-holding techniques like Kumbhaka increase nitric oxide production in the body. Nitric oxide is a natural vasodilator. It helps relax your blood vessels, improving circulation, especially in the pelvic region. But that's not all. A study in the Journal of Applied Physiology showed that slow, controlled breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, what doctors call the rest and arousal state. This counteracts the fight-or-flight stress response, which is the exact thing that kills performance during intimacy. You can't feel relaxed and perform well if your body thinks it's under threat. Suddenly, it made sense. It wasn't just blood flow. It was stress, years of pressure, shame, and anxiety had conditioned my body to shut down. This breathing reversed that. It wasn't a magic fix. It was a reset button for my nervous system. After about 3 weeks, I stopped needing the little blue pills. Even more surprisingly, I stopped thinking about performance altogether. We'd touch, kiss, lie down, and I didn't tense up. I didn't worry about whether I'd last or not. And because I wasn't worrying, I lasted. Funny how that works, right? I also started sleeping better. My blood pressure dropped. I felt sharper mentally. And I started stacking other small habits. A cold shower each morning boosts testosterone. 400 milliliters of magnesium glycinate before bed relaxes smooth muscle No screens 1 hour before sleep. And of course, the breath work. Every single day. I wasn't rebuilding my sex life. I was reclaiming my life. Period. But nothing hit me harder than one night in December. No fancy hotel. No plan. Just a regular Tuesday evening. We were watching a movie on the couch. I reached for her hand. She squeezed it. She turned, looked at me, and I saw something in her eyes I hadn't seen in years. Hope. No words. Just warmth. Later that night, we didn't rush. No pressure. Just closeness. Breathing. Connection. And this time, I didn't finish in 1 minute. I finished when we were both ready. She looked at me like she used to. And I looked at myself like I hadn't in a decade. The next morning, she made coffee, sat beside me, and whispered, "Whatever you've been doing, don't stop." I smiled. I'm just breathing. Baby. Here's what I learned, not just about performance, but about aging as a man. We're taught to push through pain, to pretend we're fine, to see any sign of weakness as failure. But that silence, that pretending, is what steals our power more than anything else. I used to think losing performance meant I was broken, that I needed pills, doctors, maybe even to accept that this is just what happens with age. But I was wrong. What I really needed was to understand my body, to listen to it, to breathe into it, to stop fighting it and start working with it. This ancient technique, it didn't turn me into a superhero. It just brought me back to myself. And that was enough. You don't need to be 25 again. You just need to feel like you again. No one tells us that stress, shame, and disconnection are the real killers of intimacy after 60, not just hormones or aging. When I started breathing with intention, I didn't just fix what was broken. I rewired the way I approached intimacy, confidence, and connection. And maybe that's the lesson we all need after 60. That slowing down, going inward, and reconnecting with our breath can give us more power than any prescription ever will. If you're over 60 and you've felt what I've felt, the frustration, the doubt, the quiet shame, I want you to know one thing. You're not alone. You're not broken. And you don't have to accept this as normal. Start simple. Start with 5 minutes a day. Find a quiet space. Inhale slowly. Hold it. Exhale even slower. Do it twice a day. Just that. No equipment. No gimmicks. If you want a guide, I've linked a short video below that walks through the breathing, exactly how I started. But more than that, share this with someone who needs it. A friend, a brother, your partner. Because most men won't talk about this, but they need to hear it. And if this story meant something to you, drop a comment. Tell me your journey. I read everyone, and I reply when I can. Let's stop pretending. Let's start healing. One breath at a time. Ready for the next step. In my next video, I'll show you 3 foods I added after 60 that help supercharge this ancient technique, especially for blood flow and stamina. You don't want to miss it.